Hi budget babes, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here or returning, guys, it is Jaliyah.Kreationz. Oh my gosh, you guys, can you believe how fast January flew and it's about to be February? So in today's video, guys, we're going to be wrapping up my budget and setting our budget for February. Oh my goodness, I just know this year is going to fly by fast. So if you're working on paying off debt, y'all, get started because look how quick the time is going. All right, guys, we're gonna get straight into our budget. Let's get into it. I do have my new highlighters, guys, that will be dropping in a week and a half. Are you guys excited? I'm so excited. February is the good luck month. Calculators have been restocked, you guys, so if you've been wanting to get yourself a calculator, make sure you grab one. Let's get into it. All right, January. Oh my goodness, we are out of there, you guys. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add up our expense tracker so we can see how much we actually spent for the month. On here, I'm going to round off if I have anything missing, but I'm good to go. The date you guys will be seeing this will be January 29th, January 30th, around this time. So any other expenses that may come out, I'm just going to flip it on February just so I can get a head start. But yeah, I'm already pretty wrapped up for January. I don't have any other bills coming out. I'm good on grocery shopping. I'm good on gas. So we're going to go ahead and start adding up everything and see how much we actually spent. you guys, before I start adding everything up and seeing how much I spent for the month, always go back and double check, guys, on your bank statements. It's very easy to forget something. I noticed that my subscriptions weren't in my expense tracker, so I went back and looked at my bank statements just to make sure those came out. It happens, guys, so just make sure you do all your cleanups when you're doing your reality, because we want to see how much we actually spent for the month. So let's go ahead and add all this up and see how much it costs to be us. Guys, so our full expense total for the month was $25.48. So now we're gonna go back and look at our budget that we set for the month here, and our budget was $24.92. So it looks like we went over our budget here by, let's see, $24.92, our budget by $56. So the reason why this is so important, was there any unplanned expenses that threw us off? So yes, I had some impulsive shopping in here, but we had a budget for, like, you know, fun entertainment. But as you can see here, we had an oil change for $150. So that already messed us up, and then I had to get some meds here. So the reason why we do this is to compare. I wanted to save this month, which I still was able to do based off the income that I made, but we really didn't get to save as much as we wanted to because we had unplanned expenses. So we want to keep that in mind when we're looking at our budget. So did I technically reach my budget goal, budget babes? I don't know. I gotta be transparent here. So this is why it's very important to add up things just to see what went wrong. So January kind of hit me on the head here. We had an unplanned expense come up. I did a little impulsiveness, so now I can hold myself accountable for the next month. So this is a perfect example of how to take accountability and set up your goals for next month. So, you know, we did have some impulsiveness, which wasn't too bad. We didn't go over certain places here in the budget. Let's see, all our fixes were pretty much the same. I did accidentally put more for my credit card than I meant to. It was $150 on my credit card, you guys, 100% on my bank statement. So I went and updated that. I don't know why I put $173 in my expense tracker, but yeah, it was $150, you guys. I also wrote it here on my bill statement as well as my expense tracker. So eating out, we didn't do too bad this month for eating out. We did pretty good for eating out. For eating out, I think I only spent $20. I did grocery shop this month. My grocery shopping budget was $180, so we still have money left over in that category. The self-care was $180 budget. I only spent, let's see here, $105. So technically the budget wasn't the thing that messed me up. It was those unplanned expenses. I did stay pretty consistent within my budget. For entertainment, we did go over a little bit here because I didn't have an entertainment budget set up. So we just want to keep in mind that those expenses are looking accurate to the goals that we set. So now we can write this in our monthly reflection page. So what I'm going to do now for my total expenses, I'm going to figure out how much to put in my savings checking jar based off how much I made for the month. So I'm going to take my full income that I made for the month, and then I'll create my sinking funds in here. I'm going to do this off of camera, but this is for January. So I will go ahead and take how much I made for the month. So I would take my income and get my full cash surplus. So my income minus my total of expenses. So I'm going to go ahead and do this really quickly, and then we're going to do our monthly reflection. So now we're going to do our monthly reflection. Did I reach my budget goal? After doing my income count, I did. I was able to save, but it did mess up our goal. So I'm going to put I was able to save, but my budget was thrown off. And that way I'm holding myself accountable, I'm looking at it, I'm talking about it. And then we're gonna go ahead and write our obstacles. What were some of our obstacles we faced this month? I would say no spending budget. So I was a bit impulsive. All right, so did we have any unplanned expenses did we have any unplanned expenses? If so, how did that affect our variable expenses outcome for the month? I meant to put through. Not me not being literate today. It threw the budget by $56. I had to get an oil change. So another good question here about oil changes and things like this. You could have an emergency savings for car repairs and things like this, which is true. I do have a savings to pull from, but because I leave a certain amount of money in my bank account each month that I set for my spending goal or my spending limit, I just like to put this here unless I'm pulling to plan something out for a vacation, whatever the case is. Or let's say my income, I didn't make good enough money this month and I would have to pull from my savings for that. So in this case, I just threw it in my expense thing. My income that I made covered it, luckily, but that's why it's pretty good to talk about this, because what if you were in the same scenario where your income wasn't as much as it was supposed to be because you had emergencies come up, whatever the case may be. So it's always good to put that there. I'll say my biggest accomplishment for this month will be cooking more at home. Which I'm pretty good at my eating out budget, but I've been super consistent with my meal prepping and making food at home. So I'll say that's a big accomplishment for me. I'm excited with how this month went and all the meals that I made. And then what's one major goal you have for next month? Next month, my major goal is to, I will say to get ready to go on vacation. I'm planning a trip. So to save more money for my trip. I do have a few trips coming up that I'm pulling from my sinking funds here. I have a vacation sinking funds, but I do have some short mini trips that I'm going on as well next month. So I just want to include that in there. But I do want to put more money aside for my trip. And yeah, we'll put that in there. And then now let's start working on our goals for February. All right, you guys, now that we wrapped up January here, we're going to go ahead and start working on our February budget. So let's get straight into it. Alrighty, you guys, and just like that, I went in and wrote down all of my bills and expenses in my calendar. So I have my calendar out, and then I also have a mini little short trip I'm going on here, which isn't the trip that I'm saving for, but it's something else, just a small little minor trip that I'm taking. Alright, you guys, I'm sorry about that. My camera had died, or my camera didn't die, my storage had run out, so I had to go switch my SD card or whatever the case may be, you guys. But I wanted to talk about updating on my bills in here. My rent did go up this month. I did renew my lease. There was a small increase, so I did update my rent price here. Electricity is a little higher than what the average usually is for my budget, and then I was able to cut some subscriptions here. So I did save some money here for subscription wise, but my electric and my rent did increase here. Electric, it was really cold the last few months, so I've been having my heat on, so there was a small increase there, and then my rent did increase as well. So now we're gonna go through and we're gonna go ahead and write in all my bills and expenses for the month. The normal schmegler regular. I am going on a small little trip, so I'm gonna show you guys how I put that in my variable expenses, and we're gonna go ahead and just set up our budget for the month. We're gonna write our bills in and our varies and all that good stuff. I don't know what my monthly income will be for this month, but I always pre-plan ahead, so anything I made from the previous month I always save for the month coming up, or just in general I have a savings for that. So we're gonna get straight into it and write what we need here for this month. Alright, you guys, I was able to write in my budget for the month. This month will be a heavier spending month for me due to the fact that I have to get my dog shots this month, and then I do have a small little trip, so I made sure I put that in the budget. Usually I have to renew their insurance or get their shots this month here, so we'll have that coming up for the new year or whatever the case may be. So let's go ahead and add up how much my full expense total is, and then we'll see how much we need to make for the month. So let's go ahead and add this up. So our fixed total to $18.98. So those are our main bills. Now let's go ahead and add up our variables. 160 plus 120 plus 60 plus 180 plus 200 plus 200 plus 37 plus 400 is going to be 1357. So 1357 plus 1898. Our expense total is going to be 3255 this month. Okay, so now that we know how much we need to make for the month, or how much we're gonna have to pull to cover our bills and expenses, that's how much we need here is $32.55. For me, that just seems like so much because I'm not used to my expenses being that high. So we got a heavier month due to that, and then a little bit of spending money, which I probably won't spend the full, and then a little bit of money for my trip. Just to have for some spending out there. I'm not going to be gone for a long time, so I probably won't need that full 200, but I'd rather overquote it than underquote it and go on the trip and go over my budget. So now what we're gonna go ahead and do, you can break this down to a weekly budget. I'm just gonna fast forward me setting up a weekly budget here. I'm not gonna go too much into debt because personally I really don't use weekly budgets, but I'm still gonna fill this out for an example for my budget babes who do need a weekly budget, just so you can see everything that's coming out. Usually a monthly is enough for me, but I'll just do a fast forward of me setting up the weekly for you guys to follow along with. Budget babes, and just like that I set up my weekly and my monthly budget. So now all I'm gonna go through and do is write out my bills for the month just so I can cross them off as I pay them. I'm gonna speed this up and then we'll be done setting our budget for the month of February. We do have our expense tracker, but I haven't started my spending for February yet, so we're just going ahead and writing our bills. And then we have our monthly, our weekly budget, and then we also have our calendar filled out. So let's go ahead and set it up. Alrighty, you guys, and just like that we are done setting up our budget for the month. Look, it's all set to go. So thank you guys again for watching. Planners can be purchased via my TikTok shop or my place of business. What are some of your goals that you have for this month coming up, and what was something that you may have messed up on last month, or something you're excited that you accomplished in January? So what is a goal you have for February, and what is something you achieved or a goal that you had for January that came true? Or just let me know what your budget's looking like, guys, for this new month coming up. Let me know in the comments below how you did. I'll be back with more videos later this week. Thank you guys again for watching. I hope you guys have a great first beginning of your new month. Bye.